Hey there, I'm Tucker, this is D&D Daily, and today I wanted to extend our creative combat series a little bit in a different direction by talking about a new idea I've had for a combat. The idea I have today was inspired by Critical Role's first campaign of Vox Machina. Specifically, I watched their new animation of their campaign, and there's one scene that really caught my eye. This will have spoilers if you haven't watched it yet. I think you should go watch it because it's awesome. But there is a specific scene in here that I'm going to talk about. The scene I'm talking about is where Percy is fully possessed by the demon, and him and the demon are kind of acting together, almost fighting the party while the party is trying to dodge his bullets and talk him down. I really loved this scene. I think it was really filled with drama and tension, but also the creativeness in that combat of having those two characters in one body was something that really inspired me. So the idea I have today for this creative combat section is something that you as a DM can do in your campaign to change it up a little bit. And the idea I have is that instead of using layer actions or legendary actions, maybe you don't like layer actions and legendary actions, or maybe you just want to mix it up, is having two characters that share one body. So like in this combat that Percy and the demon were in one body together, they did not have the same actions all the way. Percy had his actions of using his gun, and the demon had its actions of swinging around and doing its different effects. And both of them are cool, and they have almost two different initiatives. I tried this out in one of my campaigns, and I think it worked pretty well. What I had was the big bad, who was just a normal guy who the party had already fought before, and instead of just giving him legendary actions to make it a harder fight, or instead of giving him layer actions, I gave him this set of like magic wings, but the magic wings almost acted on their own. So these wings fused with him and they were one entity as far as like hit points and AC go. However, they had two different initiatives, and on those initiatives they did two completely different things. On the main bad guy's turn, he would cast spells, he would attack with his scythe, but on the wing's turn they would fly him around, move him out of positions without provoking opportunity attacks, and they would shoot out a bunch of like black feathers, like a storm of it, to damage people in just a big AoE. And they could also grapple and restrain people. It was pretty cool. I really did like this because instead of just giving them legendary resistances and legendary actions and having just this one character, it made the players think a lot more, and it was almost as if they were fighting two enemies in one, which is exactly what I was going for. Because they had two initiatives, I think is what made the big distinction in the players' minds. If I was going to give any advice on doing this, I would say make two distinct creatures that act together, or make two things that act in one. So for my case, I had the man and the wings, and they each had two very, very different abilities, and they had two different initiatives, but they shared the same space essentially, and they worked together. And I think that's really what made it cool. I think this idea could work really well for something like a possession, like in Vox Machina, in something like an outer force helping a character, as in like a paladin being blessed by a god, or the same for a cleric. Or you could have like a warlock with their patron interacting with them. This could be cool for allies of the party, it could be cool for enemies of the party. It could even be interesting for a party member if they need some help with something, or if you just want to make things a little more interesting. Anyways, this has been my idea for the day, is just having those two characters share a body for that sake of combat, and making that combat more interesting and more related to a story element that you want to keep in your campaign. I really like this idea. I thought it worked great in my campaign, and I'll probably do it again if I can build up the right story elements. Let me know what you think if you do it in your campaign. What do you think about this? Do you think it's legendary actions and legendary resistances and layer actions are the way to go? Or do you think this is something you would want to try out in your campaign? Let me know in the comments below. We are D&D Daily. We release new content every single day. If you haven't seen the rest of our Creative Combat series, check it out here, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of our great videos. See ya.